You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee. So you say,
"Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?"
Brew 2 shots of espresso.
after Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you're ready for some beats.
"Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music."
You head to meet some friends, but can't remember the place.
"Hey, Meta, call Eva."
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, hey, Meta, to harness the power of Meta AI. Shop now at meta.com/smartglasses.
Every day when you log into ChumbaCasino.com, the ultimate online social casino, you get a free daily bonus. Imagine if you got daily bonuses in other parts of your life.
I chose French fries over loaded French fries.
I asked Stuart from accounting about his weekend, even though I don't care.
I updated my operating system without having to call tech support.
Collect your free daily bonus at ChumbaCasino.com now. And live the Chumba life. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Take a deep dive into the stories making the news headlines across the world.
The news agents.
We're not just here to tell you what's happening, but why. From me, Emily Maitlis.
And me, John Sopel.
With Global's award-winning podcast, The News Agents, dropping daily, covering everything you need to know about politics and current affairs.
And The News Agents USA.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in.
Listen to The News Agents on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Football feast into the final hour of the presentation. The final regular season Friday football feast is next Friday at Buffalo Wild Wings Egan, in advance of the what could be the life changer against the Motor City Kitties. Many here know, but just in case you don't, if the Minnesota Vikings win each of their final two games, then they will have NFC home field advantage throughout the postseason.
I can't believe the words are coming out of your mouth in week 17.
Wow.
That this team can just win its last two games to secure home field. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Well, it's going to be difficult. And not exactly sure what has transpired here of late with the point spread and the Vikings-Packers.
Vikings are now favored by one. There's been late move to Vikings, I believe.
Well, Vikings were favored.
Oh, one and a half. The other way. Okay.
1.5 came back. Green Bay ended up going favored by a point. Now I think it flipped the other way. So this is a lot of volatility with the old Greenbacks on this game.
Okay.
But the last time the Minnesota Vikings were a 1 seed would be when? 1998.
Oh, man, you got to go that far. I was hoping it wasn't 98.
Well, 2009, it was one eye on what's in front of you, the other eye on the New Orleans Saints. And they could not get by the Saints.
No, and that's ultimately what bit them in the ass. Was the Saints that year, and playing, obviously, had that game been played in the Metrodome, Vikings would have won, 100%. No doubt about that. The path gets so much easier when you get that bye. Now you just win one game and you're in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And it's all at home. Everything changes.
Well,
everything changes.
Well, you just think about how blessed and how good the Kansas City Chiefs have been over the last handful of years, really decade. How many times, have they been in the AFC Championship game or had home field advantage throughout the postseason, where they get that wild card weekend off, which is super key.
Huge.
And the Vikings, if they get it, which they very well may not, but if they get it, first time in like 26 years.
Unbelievable. I don't think Patrick Mahomes has played a road playoff game. I believe they've all been at home.
Did he play at Baltimore last year?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. I could be wrong.
I think they beat Baltimore.
The other part that you get, so when you get the bye week, Your players get to rest. That is, that's an easy one. Also, your coaching staff gets 2 weeks to start formulating your game plan. That's awfully nice as well.
Big time.
In the case of the Chiefs that have already wrapped up, they get 3 weeks to start formulating game plans for their potential opponents, and they're mapping out all the different scenarios that way.
Yeah,
absolutely huge. And since we've mentioned some of the AFC playoff bound teams, Paul.
Yeah.
The race for MVP to me is still fascinating with 2 games to go.
Yeah. Isn't Josh Allen relatively?
Josh Allen is the chalk right now at minus 225. I don't know why Lamar Jackson is separated so much, plus 170. Skull chant happening here.
Yeah, it's a very festive crowd in Plymouth.
It's very festive in Plymouth. Lamar Jackson has been awesome, and I don't know why this thing feels like Josh Allen's an automatic to win this thing.
Right.
So, as of Wednesday, Jackson has become the NFL's all-time quarterback rushing leader, taking the mantle from Mike Vick.
Yeah.
He got MVP chance in Houston on Wednesday. I mean, he's converted the opposing fan base, for Pete's sake.
I mean, the Ravens fans probably were at the game.
There were some Raven fans at the game. The Ravens just played 3 games in 11 days, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your combined scores.
Yeah.
3 games in 11 days.
Yeah.
100 points for the Ravens.
Wow.
Their opponents scored 33.
Wow. And a super special 2 from the Texans.
That's right. Which was not scoregami. 31-2, oddly enough, not scoregami.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Ravens offense has produced an NFL high 10 touchdown drives of 90 or more yards.
What?
This year.
10.
10. 90, you've gone 90 or more yards for a touchdown 10 different times this year.
Wow, what a run-pass balance. Quarterback running, play action. Wow.
Right.
That'd be interesting, and I could do this later, is go back and watch those and see what went into it.
It'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't know. I just think Lamar Jackson, he leads the NFL in touchdown passes. I don't know why Josh Allen is the prohibitive betting favorite right now with 2 games to go.
Great point.
I don't know. It feels odd to me. Were you happy to see Teddy Bridgewater return to the NFL?
That's pretty cool. Lions, right?
Yeah, Lions.
Yeah, that's he's not going to play. Obviously he's not going to play, but it's cool that that Holmes, the GM, and Dan Campbell, the coach, recognize having him around and what we've seen when he's been around, even though he's probably not going to play or in the past, has been something that they know helps. You know what I'm saying? Because you just don't. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, he just won a Miami State high school football championship for like a 3A, his alma mater.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been around the Lions covenant, but I'm sure he knows the place and stuff.
I think he was a backup with the Lions at the end of his career.
Oh, no, he was, but I'm saying all year he hasn't.
No, not all year.
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
Right.
Well, how much respect must you have for somebody?
Right.
They haven't picked up a football, organized team activities, training camp, mini camp, the whole thing. Come on into the covenant. I mean, he might walk into a Super Bowl win.
He might walk into a Super Bowl win that way.
Yeah, that's a lot of respect for the man he is.
And think about that. How much Mike Zimmer does not love a lot of guys. Mike Zimmer loved Teddy Bridgewater.
Big time.
I mean, that was, when Mike Zimmer has adoration for you, you're a special person and a special player.
Yeah.
And Zimmer adored Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
Then Bridgewater, has a number of different starts throughout his career, played for a number of different teams, but ended with Dan Campbell. And then they signed him with no intention of him being a player who participates on this team.
Yeah.
They want Teddy Bridgewater just because they want the man inside the building.
Big time.
Here's what Dan Campbell said about him yesterday. He brings a level of professionalism, veteran presence, and somebody that's great for our team and great for the quarterback position. How about that?
Yeah.
Also reported yesterday, Teddy's been fielding offers to coach for next year. So it's already, the coaching cycle is already starting to move for him for this year. Now, we like our quarterback coach, and I don't think we need to make a move for Teddy Bridgewater, but it would be awfully cool if Teddy Bridgewater was here.
So, in closing with this Lions covenant, They're at San Francisco Sunday, which is pretty much a zero-sum game for them. Because if the Vikings win, Detroit can beat the Vikings in the final game of the season, get the 1 seed. If the Vikings lose and the Lions win, it's over, Johnny. But there are myriad ways for the Lions to hold on to that 1 seed. So unless Dan Campbell flips the proverbial script, he was asked about, hey, this is, we're not going to call it a zero-sum game, but nevertheless, how are you going to handle it? He's like, I'm using all the starters. Yeah. And they're going to play the full game, and that's just how it's going to be. What do you think of that?
This is Dan Campbell. That's exactly who Dan Campbell is. Would I do it? No. Does Dan Campbell do it? Yes, he does. And, he doesn't care about mitigating injury. I mean, his risk level is 10 out of 10. And he is sticking with this because it's working for him. Right. And I think he just wants the consistency of who he is, letting his players know that there's an expectation that they play hard every game. They play starters, Paul. They'll be up 30 points, and they're playing starters with 2 minutes left in the game. Right. This is it's who Dan Campbell is. And you're right. There's a scenario. If the Vikings win against Green Bay earlier, then this Monday night game means nothing to the Lions, and Dan Campbell doesn't care. We're going to go out, and we're going to play to win anyway. Right. And God bless him. This is how he does business.
And speaking of the Green Bay Packers, David Sinekin, the head cheese at TC Head Cheese via the tweet machine. If there's a border battle, then Super Special Cinny, the Sultan of Smug, undoubtedly will stop by the Friday football feast. And he's going to join us around the corner to break down the border battle on KFAN.
You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Classic style, innovative tech. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee, desperately. So you say,
Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?
To make a latte, brew 2 shots of espresso.
After Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you start walking to work, and you need a soundtrack.
Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music.
With the built-in camera, you snap a pic of a dope mural on the side of a building that you think is worth sharing.
Hey, Meta, text my last photo to Eva.
Sending message.
After work, you head to meet some friends.
Hey, nice glasses.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, hey, Meta, to harness the power of Meta AI. Listen to music, make hands-free calls with open-ear audio and built-in microphones, and so much more. All while staying present to the world around you. Shop Ray-Ban Meta glasses at meta.com/smartglasses.
Is what would be determined as a grand entrance by the Sultan of Smug. And he undoubtedly is unfurling one of those right now. David Sinekin from Packer Preview and Saturdays in the Zone with Double T and Greg Popovich, Dave A. He'll be joining us shortly. We can hear some boos.
There are already boos.
Which means I wonder if he's going to have the game-worn Ray Nitschke or the Charles.
And here we go.
There he is.
Go, right here.
What's he have? I went with the Nitschke. That's very nice. Well, much like the first half.
He's decided to walk through the entire crowd.
Yeah, much like the first half the Green Bay Packers had against the Minnesota Vikings at Lambeau Field. David's lost. And it's 7-0, and now he heads to the other side of the bar. And
he's heading to the bar because he is a Packer fan. So there is that.
Yeah, but I thought he would be heading to the sink in the
that's a good point.
In the bathroom to relieve himself.
Right. Yeah.
Here we are over here.
Yeah.
Come on over here, ladies and gentlemen. from the fighting city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, by way of Minnetonka. Can I get a witness? And a raucous round of applause for the Sultan of Smug, David Sinekin.
That doesn't seem like applause.
Sinekin.
I've heard applause before, and it doesn't usually go that way.
There once was a Packer fan named Sinekin, and we booed him again and again. Vikings fans, we booed him again and again.
I'm feeling the love. This is awesome.
And then he found the mic, and I guess there was nothing to like, so we decided we were going to boo him again. There we go. All right.
I'm home. This is awesome.
It feels good.
It really does.
You remember the year?
Your boy's battling a little bit of a throat situation.
Yeah.
So Paul Charch, I don't want to talk to David anyway. So Charch, go ahead and take it away.
Dave, you remember the year that we gave out foam footballs that day?
Buffalo Wild
and then
Wings,
you
Bristol.
showed up, yes, and pelted by an array of foam footballs.
Yeah, and Ponder was the quarterback back then, and I remember saying clearly Christian Ponder didn't make that throw because it's far too accurate of a pass.
Brilliant. But see, when you couldn't find us, here's what I unfurled, is that much like the first half of the game at Lambeau Field, that Packer fan seems to be having trouble finding his way to where the promised land is. You got down 28-0, 28-7 at halftime, and good morning.
Yeah, good morning. We Packer fans don't like to live in the past. That was what? That was a long time ago, and our team is very different. And I think this game will be a bit different as well, as they tend to be when we two teams meet over the holidays. Packers tend to win those games like the last four. So This is our time of year. This is, not going to call it our house, but it's kind of becoming that.
But you know what? Holidays are subjective. So September 29th, there was some form of a holiday where the Skull Chant broke out at Lambeau Field. And maybe it was Madonna's holiday. It's like we scored every play, but then all of a sudden it got stupid at the end. What's going on?
Yeah, it did get stupid. It got kind of interesting at the end. You're bringing in reinforcements here. I'm more outnumbered now than I was a second ago.
Got my dog Coley.
Doesn't seem right. Coley in the house.
Yeah, the Coley.
I'm so geeked for this. This is my first Packer Viking game I'll be at in the new stadium. I'm real excited.
You didn't go last year.
I did not go last year.
I
didn't have a team to play against. I knew it wasn't going to be competitive. So
right. Couldn't lower yourself to go to
he's right.
Darren Hall, quarterback. It just didn't feel like it was worth
ridiculous last year. Now O'Connell's first game against them, his very first game coaching, he beat the Green Bay Packers. I think it was 23-7. Funny how you weren't at that one either.
No, I was not at that one, but I will be at this one.
You know who else wasn't at that one?
No.
Christian Watson.
He may not be at this one either.
Yeah, he might not be at this one either.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a weapon for this defense for sure.
So both teams are quality operations.
Yeah.
You think that's fair to say?
We've never met with both teams winning at least 11 games, right? That's the first time ever that's happened.
In 64 years of the rivalry.
Yeah.
So I see you've read the dope sheet sent out by the Green Bay Packers. I started
on. You think I haven't?
Yesterday. It's the bomb. Okay. So now with the game coming up Sunday, I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. We'll go back and forth here in Hall and Oates like fashion. And I'm being serious here. The trash talking's to the side. Either one of these teams can go to the Super Bowl. In fact, a team from the NFC North going to the Super Bowl should be prohibitively favored over the rest of the teams in the NFC.
The Eagles. Continue.
I'll tell you what, I ain't tripping on the Eagles. And I mean, they've won 8. They won 8 in a row. And you got the quarterback and the wide receiver fighting with each other, and then they lose the next game. Okay, sure. Hurts. I get it. Let's see them this weekend against Dallas. I've seen this movie with the Eagles, and I know how it ends. Like last year, they'd won 1 million in a row. They took an awful loss at home to Arizona. Then they lost their first playoff game. So this is... You can fracture this covenant easily, but I understand what you're saying.
And Nick Sirianni getting in a fight with Zach Ertz after last week's game.
Oh, geez.
Which is weird. I mean, you don't often see head coaches in shoving matches.
And he will be outcoached by any NFC North team he faces in the playoffs.
All right, so however it works out, like Keyshawn Nixon, okay, and or Eric Stokes having to cover these high-end skill guys where, hey, if you rush, if Gary gets home, if Edgerrin Cooper gets home, if Kenny Clark gets home, okay, and Lucas Van Ness, who's playing better these days, if those guys get home, it changes the conversation. But, it's the I know that you know that I know that you know. If they get home, then we got a little problem. But if they don't get home, I just why is Keyshawn Nixon a full-time cornerback? It's like maybe the NFL's best kick returner, but when did this happen?
He's gotten way better. He's been really good this year. He was the slot nickel corner last year, and he was asked to play outside this year, and he's been really good. He's gotten better and better. Now he played some slot on Monday night, so they could have Stokes and Valentine on the edges, but it's really weird how I think our teams parallel each other, because I could say the same thing for you guys. Unless your pressure gets home, how are your cornerbacks going to deal with the array of pass catchers? And Love isn't going to try to throw it to Mr. 17. I'm assuming that's Devontae Adams and not Anders Carlson, number 17 there. Packers don't have that.
Right,
Devontae
but
Adams.
I think you would fairly concede Murphy Jr., Griffin, and Gilmore have played in a lot bigger spots than Nixon and or Stokes.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I don't know how much that benefits them necessarily in a game, but yeah, they're on the Packers' weakness is at cornerback right now. No Jair Alexander, it sounds like.
Is it really?
Again,
yeah.
Matt LaFleur said that yesterday. Unlikely.
And
I don't think he plays the
play
game.
a fair amount like sneaky corner, like hybrid sneaky corner?
Who's that?
Xavier McKinney.
He can. They prefer Javon Bullard to do that.
Right.
But he's hurt too, right?
He's missed the last two, but he returned to practice yesterday.
Yes. Okay,
so I don't know. I don't know if he will go, but at least he was back on the field, and he kind of assumed that role you're talking about, that nickel corner, the safety up. Xavier's great over the top and back to make sure someone's helping out for JJ and for Addison and trying to steal a pass or two. It's for Green Bay, it's all about forcing Sam into some bad decisions, getting him off his spot, disrupting his timing, because we've seen how much more comfortable he's gotten in recent weeks, and I think everybody checked the box last week when he made the comeback in Seattle. Okay, he can do that on the road in a place we never win. Okay, we've got hope here. So I think Green Bay's eyes were open, too, by what he did in Seattle.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like among your secondary, I just want to go find Eric Stokes. I mean,
it's a good decision.
He was a starter for about 5 weeks at the beginning of the season, and your team struggled. They benched him, and everything got better in your secondary. With him on the field, I'm like, let's go find Eric Stokes.
And does
let's
any
see
part
what level of confidence he's got? Let's see what ability he's got. To me, that is the Achilles heel of that secondary.
Does any part of you find yourself, and I'm being serious here, feeling bad for Eric Stokes? Because I do. I mean, he's played like 30 some odd games. I mean, we've had all those injuries.
Yep.
He hasn't had an interception since the fourth game of his career, like 2021. All right, he hasn't. That's it. But it absolutely has been because the injury situation has been so debilitating to him that maybe he wasn't going to be good in the first place, but who really knows with all these injuries? I just find myself kind of feeling bad for the guy.
Yeah, no, he was good his rookie year, and then the injuries hit. He hasn't been the same. And what doesn't help him is he wears number 21. Do you remember the last Packer to wear 21?
Oh, Woodson.
Charles Woodson. So Packer fans look at 21, and you think Charles Woodson.
Yeah, that's a hell of a hit right
I know we're throwing out the last game. New Orleans had no NFL caliber skill position players.
Correct.
But Stokes pitched a shutout and made that mean anything.
Wait, whoa. He slowed down Bub Means?
Believe it or not.
Wow.
All right. He kept Bub Means under wraps.
Wow.
But my point is, confidence can be a big thing. And when you have a night where they don't complete any passes against you, and you can at least hold that to yourself, maybe he carries that and has a little more confidence. Because Green Bay needs him. Obviously, this is the last run for Stokes. He won't be on the team next season.
No.
But he has an opportunity to show something in some big spots, obviously this Sunday, and then whatever the playoff brings.
No, if Christian Watson can't play, usually it feels like Dontavian Wicks picks up a lot of those routes. Do you feel like there's a drop-off there?
Well, there's a drop-off for speed. Nobody has the speed that Watson has, and that's why he's so important against the Vikings. Just send Watson deep, and Harrison Smith or somebody's going to have to help the cornerback out. Bo Melton can be that guy, and they might try that because he is the guy they'll do some running plays with. He is fast, but nobody combines the speed and size Watson has. He's been healthy, all season until he fell wrong on Monday night. Of course, perfect timing, right before the Vikings. But the Packers' offense is built on explosive plays, and that's the advantage I think we have Sunday. I think the Vikings ranked 29th in plays they've given up of 20 or more yards. Packers are second in those kind of plays, but it'll help to have Watson out there. He's been the beneficiary of a lot of those big plays, and if he's not out there, it might be more of a dink and dunk affair. And as you guys both know, it starts with Josh Jacobs as far as Green Bay.
It does.
He carried the ball 9 times. Nine times in the first meeting.
That was an aberration because of the 28.
Understood. Understood.
But like Reed 139 and 1. Well, that can happen in a close game or a blowout.
Yes.
I mean, you know what I think of Jaden Reed, man. I think he and Tucker Kraft are two of the most underrated players in the NFL. Reed still does not get the proper credit I think he should get league-wide. And from that nice tight ends draft, you got Laporta, but then you got Kraft. And they're both overall, and I was telling Charch earlier, it's like, when I'm memorizing these Packers numbers and I'm getting into some of the offensive plays, Tucker Kraft's work in the run game, he is a nasty sucker. Holy cow, he blocks you right to the whistle.
Yeah, that's what he hangs his hat on, is that he's a glorified offensive lineman. And what's so cool about him is not only is he a great blocker, but he's really good yards after the catch. Like, he does not like to go down, and he trains with George Kittle in the offseason, and we're starting to see some of those same traits. But PA, when you're looking at numbers and studying numbers, and you see 88, that's not Bubba Franks. You might think it is, but it's Luke Musgrave, who returned last week. And I know you're going to say,
skeletal remains there.
He's very, very fast on the grip.
Great. He has one touchdown all of his career.
He's a guy that Green Bay hasn't had to use this year.
Yeah.
This might be the game where they run some plays for him, because that fast track suits his speed.
Right, I agree. And he's ballyhooed out of, I believe, Oregon State.
Yes.
Okay, he's the third best tight end on that roster right now.
You still a Ben Sims guy?
Absolutely. Look at Ben's overall game. The Vikings, out of that super deep tight ends draft with Laporta, Kincaid, all them, is the Vikings had this college free agent from Baylor we had in the preseason, got to know him a little bit, Ben Sims. I mean, just a scrappy overall guy. Well, they put him on the practice squad. Took LaFleur 3 seconds to pick him up and make him active pretty much every single game. Now, he's not a field-stretching game. You know, you're not going to get 7, 85, and 2 every single week, but he's a really good all-around player. Kraft, Sims, and Musgrave, that's as good a 1-2-3. Vikings have a good 1-2-3 with their tight ends also, but that's a really good 1-2-3.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see that kid back on the field, and I hope they've got a couple plays designed for him. Maybe we forgot about 88. He hasn't played all season. Maybe Sunday he's
That's a good point. He is very fast.
Something to watch.
The receiver that I think sitting at a giant game is Jaden Reed. The Vikings, we talked about this earlier in the show, but not with you. Vikings just getting hammered by slot receivers. Jaden Reed's one of the best receivers in the league after the catch. He breaks tackles. He's got that big, thick frame that some cornerbacks can't take down. And I think I can see a real scenario here where he becomes a focal point of this offense, and they'll run him a few times as well.
I hope so. There were a few weeks there where I was looking on milk cartons for him. Didn't get a target one game. I think the Lions game. And are you kidding me? Like, how do you not design plays for number 11? He is kind of like Deebo Samuel light. He's not built as big as Deebo, but he's got all those traits where he can hurt you as a ball carrier or a pass catcher. Yes, you're right. This should be the kind of game where Jaden Reed goes crazy, especially if Watson's a bit banged up and you can't count on him. Wicks has been dealing with drops, although Reed has as well. I always watch for Romeo Doubs, though, because he's the nookie blankie. He's the third down guy, the red zone guy. That shoestring catch he made for the touchdown was one of the best catches of the season.
It was great.
And he's so unassuming. Like, I don't know that he's having fun playing. Like, he's just, he never smiles. But, man, he makes big plays in big spots. And on third downs, I know we love Kraft and we love Reed, but I'll be watching 87 because that's the guy Love looks to.
Eliminate Jefferson and the Vikings passing game from the equation. What border battle, I believe, 129. Haven't looked at the dope sheet closely enough to add up.
Oh, me either.
Postseason and the whole thing. What about playing on the road in this game against a team with a quest for a 1 seed? Eliminate Jefferson in the passing game. What gives you a little bit of concern about this game this weekend?
Well, Green Bay's still the youngest team in the NFL. They're still the youngest team the second straight year. So a lot of these guys have not been through this. Even Xavier McKinney has never played in a big game.
Well, it's because he played for the Giants.
Exactly. So they haven't felt this. And
he was on that Giants team that beat us in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. He was. That's a good point.
He's got one win.
Yeah. Is this offense prepared for the noise? on top of what Flores is going to do to try to confuse him.
Right.
Like most quarterbacks, Love has struggled when blitzed this year.
Really?
Much better under a clean with a clean pocket. If that noise gets crazy and Flores is mad scientist, everybody's moving around, who's coming, who's not. Love might be due for a pick or two. He hasn't thrown one for quite a while.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about the noise, the combination of the big spot, and just a young group of offensive players that haven't been in this spot a lot. Now, that said, they went to Dallas, hadn't lost a home game all season, and blew them off the field. Went to San Francisco and went toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl team till the final drive. So
in that win at Dallas, it's interesting, the veteran led the way, Aaron Jones.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like he ain't lying about, I mean, it's the youngest team in the NFL, and a lot of people have seen that, but now assembling the game-calling depth chart. On the offensive side, you got like left tackle third year. Second year, third year, second year. Jaden Reed, second or third year. I mean,
there's not one like
Dobbs, fourth year. I mean, it's unbeloved, like fifth year, but he's played like 2 years.
Right.
It is formidable.
The only player on the roster when the season started that was 30 was Preston Smith.
Jeez.
And they traded him. Yeah, you're 30. You're trash now.
We don't need you.
We don't need you here. Now they brought in a kicker, and he's over 30. And that's the other thing. Green Bay didn't have a kicker that first inning.
McManus is lights out right now.
And that was the biggest worry for me heading into the season was we're going to be in a big spot like San Francisco in the playoffs. When Andres Carlson comes and misses extra points and field goals, that's going to bite us if we don't solve that. Brandon McManus has taken all of that away.
Yeah, very solid.
Not a concern. Yeah, he might miss one on Sunday, but he hasn't really missed one yet in a big spot. So just knowing a guy that's been around 8-9 years, that takes one big worry away.
So what are your thoughts about going back up against Aaron Jones again? I know when he was cut, most Packer fans were like, what are we doing? We love Aaron Jones. You know that, when healthy, he had been great for your team, super dynamic. He can catch, he can run inside, he can run outside, he can run with power, he can run speed. He's super, super versatile. And, when that move went down, there were a lot of Packer fans like, what are we doing here?
Myself included.
Yeah. Now, it turned out great. Josh Jacobs has reinvented his entire career. He's never looked better than he has, in my opinion, even when he led the NFL in rushing yards a couple of years ago. I think he looks better now than at any stage of his career. But what are your thoughts on Aaron Jones in this revenge game?
I'm really curious about it because the one thing that has really changed for Green Bay in the last half of the season is their run defense. They're now a top 10 run defense. And that's what makes this team so different from last year's unit. I had no confidence in Joe Barry or that defense in the big spot. Suddenly now, still some red zone defensive issues. Third down, they're not the best. But play to play, they stop the run. And we know Minnesota's going to try to make sure Aaron Jones gets his and put Sam in the best possible position by getting 7-8 yards on first and second downs. I'm really interested to see how Green Bay's run defense handles a guy we know is uber motivated to have a big day against his former team. Green Bay, Edgerrin Cooper's come in and changed that defense.
Yeah, he's nice.
Comes in, first game after missing a month, he's the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Quay happens to get hurt that week, and now Cooper's asked to play more. And you notice him. You notice his speed. It's different. And him in the run game is a big deal. So, again, everybody wants to stop the run. I think Green Bay finally has a defense that's physical, that's fast, and that can make it tough for Aaron Jones to get his yards.
Over the past 6 weeks, Green Bay ranks number 8 in run defense success rate, number 6 in yards per carry allowed, and number 3 in yards after contact allowed. That's over the last 6 weeks.
That's a Packer defense you're talking about.
That's a Packer defense.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable. But here's where you can get exploited. Over the last 5 weeks, Packers have allowed the most running back receptions in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
They've been really, really limiting on how often the Vikings have used Aaron Jones in the passing game. Let's get 5 targets. Let's get 6 targets. In most games, he's like 2 catches. I would like to see us attack the Packers through the air with Aaron Jones.
Yeah, that has been the Achilles heel. Look at the Lions game. Goff didn't even try to throw the ball downfield. He didn't have to.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery in the screen game just killed the pack. Now, Cooper helps that a little bit. He's got the speed to run down those running backs, and then we haven't seen him much. Again, it's hard to say. Seattle doesn't throw to their backs that much, and certainly New Orleans had no success. But I think the guys that are out there right now might be better equipped to stop the screens and the little inside routes and slants that the middle of the field has been the soft underbelly in the short passing game. You're right about that. That's something I'll be watching early to see if O'Connell tests the Packers defense, because I think it's better now than it was a month ago when they played the Lions.
Last one for me, potentially for the segment. Jordan Love with 11 sacks. He's taken only 11 sacks. That's unbelievable. I know he missed 2 games in here, and I know, they're laying on Jacobs and the running game to a certain extent. 11 sacks through 13 games. I can't say I've ever seen that before.
Really good pass blocking unit for sure. And what has helped Green Bay is the line has stayed healthy. You guys lose your best lineman, and now it's like, what do we do? You found a guy. Kudos to Kwesi for finding Cam Robinson. It's not easy to find a left tackle. I know he's not been great.
Correct.
But it hasn't been a disaster.
Right.
Green Bay always has had a veteran swing tackle in case a guy gets hurt. They don't have that on the roster this year. They got untested young guys. And if Rasheed Walker or Zach Tom goes down, everything changes for Green Bay. So we've had a lucky 4-leaf clover. The line has stayed healthy because when those 5 guys are out there, and they drafted a guy in the first round, he's lost for the season. So they would have had that 6th guy they lost.
Who was that?
Jordan Morgan.
Oh, that's right.
A rookie out of Arizona.
Yep.
As long as those 5 guys are out there, they are terrific at protecting Jordan Love. And he's really good, too, about awareness, avoiding the sack. He doesn't care about his completion percentage. If he's got to dump one off to avoid the sack, he'll do it. The bugaboo is we don't want to get behind the chains, especially against a Brian Flores defense.
In that building.
2nd and 17, 3rd and 12, Packers have no shot. So
20% of the fans, I bet you, are going to be Packer fans. I mean, it's just like, I don't care if you're 13-2 or 2-13. That's like, somebody's like, is there like a consistent number you would put on it, say, for a 60,000 seat stadium? I'd go 12 to 15,000 every single time, except for the 2020, obviously. So,
and when it's over the holidays, a lot of people leave town, they sell their tickets. So the time of year, I think, allows more Packer fans to have a shot.
We have a minute and a half left with this segment. Charch, you get it all.
All right, I'm happy to take it all, honestly. And by the way, Vivid Seat says the stadium is 23% Packers.
Ooh.
That's a lot.
Wow.
For a game that has this much meaning for the Vikings fans, why are you selling your ticket? Why are you reselling your tickets?
Going to Arizona where it's warm, probably.
Right.
Ugh.
We might hear some Go Pack Go chants, huh?
I hope not.
If you
we
get out.
probably will. Let's talk Justin Jefferson. Now, when Jair was playing, we loved this matchup. There was a lot of, one-on-one between those two.
Yeah.
I think now it's going to be like all zone, all trying to, find ways to get 2 and 3 players on Justin Jefferson based on the route he's running. I think it's going to be all zone. How do you see them trying to neutralize Justin Jefferson?
He's going to get his. I don't think Green Bay is going to stop Justin Jefferson. It would be fun to see Jair out there and just see what Hafley does. He doesn't have a guy he trusts to go one-on-one. There's no one on the roster that's going to cover Justin Jefferson. So Xavier McKinney's going to be there to help out and spy. But I don't anticipate Green Bay slowing him down. I think Jefferson's in line for a 100-yard day. I think both teams are going to move the ball through the air in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think this is one of those 6-3 Thursday night games.
I think it's a high-scoring game.
I do, too. I think it's 50-plus. Jefferson gets his. Packers will spread it out. We just don't want to see one of those, 9 for 211 in 3 days where he just takes over.
Yeah.
And
that'd be the biggest day in Jordan Addison's career if he had one of those. All right, we got to go. Hey, God bless you, brother. Great seeing you.
Thanks, guys. Have fun Sunday.
Right. Hey, the head cheese, David Sinekin. Go ahead, Viking fans. Give him a round of applause. He's my main man. My hippie brother right there. Final segment from Buffalo Wild Wings Plymouth after this on KFAN.
You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. Classic style, innovative tech. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee, desperately. So you say,
Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?
To make a latte, brew 2 shots of espresso.
after Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you start walking to work, and you need a soundtrack.
Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music.
With the built-in camera, you snap a pic of a dope mural on the side of a building that you think is worth sharing.
Hey, Meta, text my last photo to Eva.
Sending message.
After work, you head to meet some friends.
Hey, nice glasses.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, hey, Meta, to harness the power of Meta AI. Listen to music, make hands-free calls with open-ear audio and built-in microphones, and so much more. All while staying present to the world around you. Shop Ray-Ban Meta glasses at meta.com/smartglasses.
All righty, the final segment at the Friday Football Feast from Buffalo Wild Wings Plymouth. Thank everybody for stopping by. Betsy Fine, go ahead and stand up real quick. This just was made aware. I was just made aware of this. This lady, Betsy Fine, is the NFL Fan of the Year, selected to represent the Minnesota Vikings at the Super Bowl, picked out of more than 400 applicants. Cool. So you can vote at NFL.com at Fan of the Year and select her as the ultimate NFL Fan of the Year. So thank you very much for
all right, Betsy.
Betsy,
super cool.
Best of luck. All right, your final thoughts.
If the Vikings are going to win this game, I think they take advantage of Packer injuries to no small account here. This is a secondary that's vulnerable, and let's let Sam go sling it. I mean, there are pathways for Aaron Jones to win this game on the ground, but I feel like this is one where Sam's playing so well. The Packers secondary is depleted. Let's just attack, and let's not throttle down on this. Let's keep going. If Sam makes a mistake somewhere, fine. I don't care. Let's keep passing. I think the game can be won through the air. That's where I think the Vikings end up with a win this week and on Sunday is through the air with Sam Darnold doing what he's done for the last 6-7 weeks, which is play really, really good ball since that Jacksonville.
If they don't win and Detroit does win, how are you going to feel next week at Buffalo Wild Wings Egan for the final feed?
Well, I mean, honestly, a little sad. I mean, I really want it all to come down to Week 18, and it'll still be a great. It won't mean it's not a great season. We're at 13 wins. It's already a great season, but. Yeah, I mean, if the Vikings don't pull this thing out, I'll feel a little bit down about not playing the Lions for the number 1 seed and knowing that this team's going to go on the road and in the playoffs.
What and if the Vikings are not to win, what would concern you about leading to that?
That this team is not just salted away opponents. Like the Packers are putting beatdowns on the teams they're playing. The Vikings are squeaking by. They're winning games on the last drive, stuff like that.
Hey, everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you for showing up to the Friday Football Feast. Jared Wells, our master mixer, Nick Madden's street team, and for Paul Charchi and I'm Paul Allen, thank you, Kara Savage. God bless all of you, and I'll speak with you this weekend from U.S. Bank Stadium. Bye-bye. That was not an easy show to do.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Every day when you log into ChumbaCasino.com, the ultimate online social casino, you get a free daily bonus. Imagine if you got daily bonuses in other parts of your life.
I chose French fries over loaded French fries.
I asked Stuart from accounting about his weekend, even though I don't care.
I updated my operating system without having to call tech support.
Collect your free daily bonus at ChumbaCasino.com now. And live the Chumba life. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
You wake up, put on your Ray-Ban Meta glasses. You're living all in. You realize you need coffee. So you say,
Hey, Meta, how do I make a latte?
Brew 2 shots of espresso.
After Meta AI gets you caffeinated, you're ready for some beats.
Hey, Meta, play hip-hop music.
You head to meet some friends, but can't remember the place.
Hey, Meta, call Eva.
Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the next generation of AI glasses. Just say, hey, Meta, to harness the power of Meta AI. Shop now at meta.com/smartglasses.
Deciding on what to listen to is hard. Using Zumo to stream music from iHeart 90s radio is easy. Or play iHeart Country or Hip Hop Beats. Your choice, all for free. Stream easy with Zumo Play. Get live and on-demand entertainment with no logins, no signups, no accounts, no hassle. This December, get cozy on the couch with Charlie's Angels starring Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Looper starring Bruce Willis and Emily Blunt. All streaming free on Zumo Play. Go to play.zumo.com now. Life is hard. Zumo is easy.